Instructions to tell if chicken has gone bad. Chicken is an adaptable, nutritious food that is an eating regimen staple for some families. Notwithstanding, in the same way as other poultry and meat items, chicken can ruin. This can influence its taste and surface, and at times, make you sick. That is the reason it's essential to realize how to tell whether chicken has turned sour. Luckily, you can search for specific signs to ensure you're eating chicken that is protected to devour. This video assists you with figuring out how to tell whether chicken has turned sour. Contingent upon whether you have crude or cooked chicken, there are a couple of significant things to see regarding its appearance and shading. Crude chicken. Prior to planning chicken, it's imperative to take a gander at its appearance for indications of waste. Crude chicken ought to have a light pink tone with white greasy pieces. On the off chance that the substance is dim or green, or if the fat is yellow in shading, this is an indication of waste and you should dispose of the chicken. All things considered, it's ordinary if there are gentle shading changes in the chicken's tissue. For instance, you may notice a slight obscuring or blurring of the pink tissue, an ordinary consequence of oxymyoglobin, a red protein and color, changing over to metmyoglobin in the wake of being presented to oxygen. Despite the fact that not generally an indication of decay, this can imply that the chicken isn't as new. Ordinarily, as long as the chicken is securely put away in the cooler or cooler, gentle shading changes are ordinary. At long last, in the event that you notice any apparent indications of waste, for example, form development, toss the chicken out. Dissimilar to with hard cheddar, you can't simply remove a little segment where form development has happened, so you should dispose of the whole piece or group of chicken. Cooked chicken. Cooked chicken ought to be white, with no pink bits of tissue. Pink tissue is an indication of half-cooked chicken. In case you're putting away chicken as extras, make certain to keep it in the cooler at 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius, or less, in a fixed compartment for a limit of 3 days. Also, make certain to put it directly in the refrigerator subsequent to cooking or eating. Chicken can ruin whenever left out in the risk zone of 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees Celsius, to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius, for in excess of a couple of hours. This is a temperature range in which microbes develops dramatically and builds the danger for foodborne disease. In the event that you notice any apparent indications of form development or shading changes between the time you put the chicken in the refrigerator and when you plan to eat it, discard it. It very well may be hard to spot form or shading changes if there are any flavors or dressings on the chicken. That is the reason you ought to eat the chicken inside 3 days of cooking it. Make certain to warm the chicken to at any rate 165 degrees Fahrenheit, 74 degrees Celsius, utilizing a food thermometer to quantify its inner temperature. Smell. An indication of awful chicken is a foul smell. Crude, new chicken will have an extremely gentle smell or none by any means. On the off chance that your chicken has an extremely clear smell, for example, an acrid or sulfur-like smell like spoiled eggs, toss it out. Notwithstanding, you ought to never depend on smell alone to decide whether chicken is protected to eat. Individuals' feeling of smell can differ, which implies not every person will see an adjustment of the smell of chicken. Thus, pay special mind to different indications of deterioration too. Surface. New crude chicken has a reflexive, fairly delicate surface. It shouldn't be foul, tacky, or crude. In the event that your hands have a disgusting buildup on them in the wake of contacting crude chicken, this is a sign it has turned sour. Cooked chicken is firm and drier than crude chicken. In the event that you notice any surface changes, like expanded delicateness, vileness, tenacity, or buildup, it's possible not, at this point, protected to eat. Buy and termination date. Alongside obvious indicators of deterioration, it's likewise imperative to take a gander at the lapse date just as consider when you bought the chicken. In the first place, consistently take a gander at the termination date prior to buying chicken. You may see that a bundle of chicken can have 2 dates recorded on it, a pack date, and a best whenever utilized by date. The principle alludes to the date the chicken was bundled and is expected for use by producers and retailers, as opposed to customers. All things being equal, the utilization by lapse date is the one you ought to allude to. This is the date by which the producer suggests you utilize the food to encounter top quality. On the off chance that you intend to eat chicken inside 1 to 2 days, you can pick a bundle that is moving toward its expiry date, which is ordinarily on special. In case you're not going to utilize new chicken by its expiry date, it's ideal to freeze it for some time in the future. It's additionally best to get crude chicken toward the finish of your staple excursion. This diminishes the time it spends in your truck in the peril zone. Make certain to take the chicken home promptly and spot it in the cooler or cooler. In the cooler, chicken can last up to at any rate 9 months, given it's firmly fixed. Prior to placing the chicken in the cooler, compose the buy date on the bundle to follow along. In the ice chest, new uncooked chicken can last 1 to 2 days. On the off chance that you have effectively cooked the chicken, you need to eat it inside 3 to 4 days, and you ought to consistently store it in the fridge. The primary concern. Having the option to tell when your chicken has turned sour will help keep you and your family protected from foodborne disease. New crude chicken is generally a light pink tone with white bits of fat, has next to zero scent, and is delicate and soggy. On the off chance that your chicken is vile, has a foul smell, or has changed to a yellow, green, or dim tone, these are signs that your chicken has turned sour. Throw any chicken that is past its termination date, has been in the refrigerator for over 2 days crude or multi-day cooked, or has been in the temperature peril zone for more than 2 hours. Despite the fact that these signs are helpful, the adage sounds valid: if all else fails, toss it out. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the Best for Health channel. God bless everyone.